everyone. At some point or the other in our life, we have been cheated, falsely accused, or ill-treated by someone we love or someone we knew. And sometimes it's easy to forgive the person who inflicted the hurt on us. But many a times it becomes very difficult for us to forgive the person who hurt us. It could either be because the hurt was over a period of long time, or because the hurt was too deep for us to let go of. And many times we carry this burden of pain and hurt with us, no matter how long it had been. We still carry that pain and hurt with us. And in that process, we lose our peace. We fail to do many things that God wanted us to do. And as I was thinking about this, my first question to God was, why do we have to go through those painful situations? Why were we hurt in the first place? Why did we have those bad memories that linger on, that keep hurting us no matter how long it had been? And as I had these questions, I found my answers from the story of Joseph, which I would like to share with you today. Joseph, as we all know, is the son of Jacob, a rich tribesman of his day. And we know that Jacob gave his son Joseph a double portion of all that he gave his brothers. And we also know that Jacob gave a special coat for Joseph. And because of all the attention and all the love and care that Joseph was getting, we see that there was a sibling rivalry. And it was so severe that his brothers even planned to kill him. And we go on to read that at the age of 17, when Joseph might have just been thinking, and we all know the dreams Joseph had. So he must have been thinking, I'm going to be so-and-so, my brothers are going to follow my orders, take my orders, and I'm going to be the leader. So many dreams that he had. And right at the tender age, he is sold by his own brothers as a slave to the Midianites. And we see that he was sold as a slave to Potiphar's house. Overnight, his life turns from being someone great, from being a person who was loved, pampered, and spoiled. He becomes nobody, just an ordinary slave. But we read in Genesis chapter 39 that God was with Joseph. He must have been traumatized. The pain and agony would have been deep enough to cut with it. But he realized that God was with him. And God blessed everything that he did. And God blessed the entire household of Potiphar because of Joseph. And we go on to read that Potiphar soon makes him the head of in charge of his household. So maybe Joseph must have been thinking, this is what God planned. Maybe I am someone now. But even at that time, we read that he is once again falsely accused and is thrown into the prison. So imagine the plight of Joseph, the wound and hurt that he was having at this particular time. From being the son of a great man, becomes a slave, and there again when he just tastes success, he is falsely accused and is thrown into the prison. But here we read, God was with Joseph, and God helped him to find favor in the eyes of the warder, and he is made in charge of everyone in the prison. So during this time of being a slave and in the prison, God was preparing him for a purpose that he had in his life. He must have learned bookkeepings and how the system functions and so many things. And we go on to read, at the age of 30, finally he is out of the prison. 23 years of being hurt, of all the pain that he had, and is finally in a position to take revenge against all the people who hurt him. But we read he did not do what he could have done. But he goes on to accomplish the purpose that God had for him. He realized that God had a purpose for his life. Through all the pain, through all the hurt, from being in a well and being a slave and being thrown into prison. God was preparing him, and God had a purpose. And he realized the purpose was to save the people during the time of famine, and he set about to do his task. And when his brothers come, and when he reveals himself, he forgives them. He tests his brother. He wants to check whether they have repented, and he forgives them of all the wrong they have done to him. And we read in Genesis chapter 45 verse 7, he says, "But God sent me ahead of you to preserve you for a remnant on earth, to save your lives by a great deliverance." He realized the purpose God had for him, and he set to accomplish the purpose that God had for him. And we read in Genesis chapter 50 verse 20, he says, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." When Joseph realized the purpose of his life, he set to accomplish the purpose God had for him. And when he went doing the purpose God had for him, he could forgive his brothers. Similarly, we read about Jesus. Jesus knew the purpose of cross, and so he went ahead and sacrificed his life on the cross. So in the Garden of Gethsemane, he asked God, "Take this cup away from me. But if it is thy will, not my will, but thy will be done." And when he knows the purpose of the cross, Jesus said on the cross, "Father, forgive them." So similarly, we have our wounds, we have our hurts. Our hurt is for us to bear. And I know it is difficult to forgive. It is difficult to let go of the pain and hurt. But when we realize the purpose, why God permitted, when we realize the purpose behind the hurt, and when we realize that God preserved us during the hurt, and God prepared us for a purpose great, we will be able to forgive and let go of the hurt. And have the peace that passeth all understanding. And before I close, I would like to quote something that I had written. "Wounds may heal, hurts may vanish, but scars may stay for life. The burden of pain and hurt is not for us to carry. Leave it to him in exchange for peace that passeth all understanding." I read this once again. "Wounds may heal, hurts may vanish, but scars may stay for life. The burden of pain and hurt is not for us to carry. Leave it to him in exchange for the peace that passeth all understanding." So today, whatever the pain, the hurt that you're carrying, no matter it would have been decades or years that we are carrying all the pains, leave it to him and let the peace that passeth all understanding be yours. Thank you. Have a blessed day.